What's up and welcome to another episode of It's Tipp, Topp Fishing. My name is Keaton and today we are at Academy Lakes. A quick thank you to my patrons who make videos like this possible. If you'd like to support Tipp Topp Fishing, consider joining the It's Tipp Topp Fishing Patreon family now. Now I'm particularly excited about this adventure because this is the first time that I get to try out my new second-hand X-Trail. More on that later. So it's the middle of winter and I'm here to catch a carp. I know winter does slow things down because of the cold, but when a venue looks like this, the cold just doesn't seem to matter anymore. So we made it. That thing's loud, but I think they're nearly done with the field. And there's bookies running past, shame. Finding some cover. Here they go. Shame those little porkies did get a fright. This is the first time I'd ever seen a combine harvester up close, and it's quite an aggressive, quite impressive machine, and the rate that it shoots corn cobs out its butt is quite scary. Specimen Academy Lakes. Academy Lakes. It's basically the home ground of Specimen Academy, a wonderful group, community, family of people who love specimen fishing and help each other with teaching each other fishing techniques, carp care, tricks, tips, all kinds of things. Guys literally post on the group, guys, I need help with slip D rigs, and the guys are like, oh, help, here's, do this, and it's really a great community. So I'm at their home grounds, and if you remember last time, in the link below, you can see that video, I blanked on my hat. So I was only there for just under 24-hour session. Vandaag, I'm here for 2 nights. 2 nights all by my lonesome. Well, not all by my lonesome, there are 2 other anglers here on swim 1. I did book swim 1, but they're on swim 1, so whatever. So I'm on swim 2, or I might go to the other side of the dam, I'm not sure. And moving to swim 4 on the other side of the dam is exactly what I did. I'm just leveling out the car with these bricks. Why am I doing that? Because today there's no bivvy. I'm testing sleeping in the car. Let's see how it goes. Did we do it? Now am I going to sleep on a slope that does this or this? Hey, that's quite fun. How beautiful is that bird? What a stunner. Specimen Academy, eh? You guys have got fancy coots, eh? Okay, cool. These are the setups that I'm doing, the 2 of the 3 setups that I'm using. So the first one is I've got some lead core, quite a long, heavy lead core, and on the end of that I've got an 8-ounce lead. I've got a drop-off heli system, so it's one of these quarter ones, these very clever quarter ones. And then what I've got is some fluorocarbon, 20-pound fluorocarbon. And what rig is that underneath it? It's called I call it the Brandon Main rig. It's a combi rig, but not the normal way. Brandon Main taught it to me, that's why I call it the Brandon Main rig. Basically it's a combi rig, but the braid part of it only starts at the hair section and not before the hook. And then I've got a safe bead and a tiny little split shot that I've squeezed on very softly. Look, it moves very easily. But why did I put the split shot there? Just to make sure it goes down. But yeah, very important that you put it on very softly. You want this bead and split shot to move very easily, otherwise it's not carp safe and then it's naughty. So this is not naughty because it's on very loosely, and that is the one rod. Second rod is this. Basically this is a Spydro. It's an underwater camera that I'm going to be using, and hopefully the Spydro is going to be catching the action which is happening to this. This I'm trying for the first time. It's called a bollocks rig. All it is a normal fluorocarbon rig or knotless knot rig, whatever you want to call it. Link to the description in the description below. And then the bollocks rig, what you do is you drill a little hole into your boilie, put a bit of flotation into that, and you do that to 2 boilies. Then you stick your boilie needle through it and pull a thick piece of mono out of the other end, and then you put your hair on it, and then you put the other boilie on the other end, and you burn off both ends to make sure the boilies don't fall off the end. That is the little PVA mesh that I've got with some more boilies inside. Sometimes the boilies crack when you drill into it, so these are the ones that I've cracked, and there's a bit of a benefit to it because they crack, because the inside of the boilie is exposed, it's letting off a little bit more flavor, so it's not a train smash when you crack a boilie. So that is my bollocks rig, and we're going to be watching that underneath. That's if the spydro lands correctly, because sometimes with the silt the spydro lands in the silt and you don't really see nicely, but we're going to give it a go. Let's give it a go. So I headed out in my little specimen inflatable boat with my Deeper Chirp Plus 2 to find some fish. So being winter, the dam was very quiet, and these were the only marks that I found. So I decided to put 2 rods in the deeper water, one being the spydro rod, and I chose to put the spydro in the deeper spot because the water is quite clear, and if anything swam past, I would pick it up on the spydro. Now, why did I choose 2 rods into the deeper water? That's because the deeper water tends to hold a little bit more warmth at night, because the surface cools down, because the air temperature is colder than the water temperature when the early hours of the morning come in. So I chucked in a couple of Specimen 101 boilies and hoped for the best. And for my last rod, I decided to go into the shallow water. Here is my hook bait, here is my lead, and I was very, very happy with this presentation. Here is the spot filmed from the other direction. You can see that it's a light sprinkling of bait because it's winter. My hook bait just looks like another particle, and my lead is almost perfectly concealed. After I got back to the bank, I had full confidence in rigs, hook baits, setups, spots, the lot. So I did say I'd get back to the X-Trail. Well, basically I did a simulation of a longer trip. So my X-Trail is the bedroom, the gazebo is the lounge, the trailer is the kitchen, and my power supply is 2 100-watt panels with a deep cycle battery powering my CF55 Flex Adventures camping fridge, my lights, my chargers, and everything else that I needed electricity-wise. I also had a water supply, and I do know that Academy Lakes has got all of that for me, but I wanted to try it out because it's fun, and I wanted to test it out to see what it would be like before I go on a long trip. Now, the evening was very quiet, even though I was hoping for a screaming run, absolute chaos, and cold toes. But it's now 10:30 at night. We haven't had a bite yet, but I've had a lovely evening. Yeah, it's been nice, but yeah, it's quite cold, but it's my first night in my car. There is where I'm sleeping. Very, very excited to try her out. Hopefully I don't get too cold. I've got plenty of blankets to prevent that, and a hot water bottle. Hot water bottles are the best in winter. They just keep your feet warm. What else? It's been very quiet on the dam. Haven't seen turning, haven't seen much. Typical of winter, because the carp are moving a lot slower. And yeah. Can you see it? No, probably not. You just see me looking like a dweeb. I woke up this morning and I was like, wow, we're gonna catch a fish. I only got like 1 or 2 little deep, and then nothing. Like deep, and then nothing. And I woke up early this morning. Not that early, it's like 6:30, and to look for fish. That's the dam behind me. So unless the fish are right here, I'm not going to see them. The next day was really quiet, but I at least got to see some really cool birds. So here is a black sparrowhawk, which we actually saw it hit a pigeon. It was so cool. There it goes with its kill. Have a good dinner. Then we were lucky enough to see a marsh harrier. If you guys think this is a marsh harrier, let me know. The one in the video, not in the picture. And then we got to see some knob-billed ducks. 4 of them flying with 4 Egyptian geese. The ones with the black wings are the knob-billed ducks. How cool is that? After last night and this morning, I had 1 or 2 bleeps on my middle rod. And then I had the oddest run I've had in a long time. I didn't catch a fish, but basically what happened was I'm chilling and I hear deet, 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 deet. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I run to the rod and I look at it and it's slowly moving to the right, like deet, deet, and it's crossed my rod. It was my left-hand rod that was doing the deet, 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 and it crossed my middle rod like crazy. And that to me is definitely a fish. And when I reeled in, I just reeled it in. It didn't feel like it came off the bottom. It didn't feel like a fish. It didn't feel like anything. And it literally, I think the fish had it in its mouth and literally shook it as I picked up the rod, which is quite disappointing. So what I'm doing now is just hoping. I've moved some of my rods. I've put that left-hand rod back on the spot, and I've placed it nice and perfectly in my opinion, and I've got 2 other rods in the deeper water. So hopefully tonight we're going to catch, because I'm sick of blanking. With the last evening upon us, I thought I'd give you a last top tip. Now, when you are going to leave early in the morning on the next day, rather pack up most of your camp the night before. That way, none of your stuff has got dew on it and it stays dry when it goes in your car. So, how did my setup go on the last night? Everything was fantastic. The CF55 camping fridge freezer was fantastic. I was super comfy in the car, but the only thing that didn't play ball was the fish. After the session, I did my research, and basically the dam didn't produce a fish for a week. None of the guys on the dam while I was there caught anything. One of the guys fished for 4 days, didn't catch anything. And yeah, for a week, the dam didn't produce. My camping setup, however, was fantastic. My ego was severely bruised again, but I had a wonderful time. Well, that's it for this episode of It's Tip Top Fishing. I did tell you if I blanked, I was going to show you a special something. Here it goes. When you're blanking and you know it, clap your hands. When you're blanking and you know it, clap your hands. When you're blanking and you know it, and you really don't want to show it. When you're blanking and you know it, clap your hands.